haven't had that much playtime, so it's a bit of a riskier move. It's not been quite figured out as much as, say, Lava Bridge, which people have got very specific strats and placements for that map.
Yeah, I also the disadvantage is that there's a lot of open space on King Shizong Station. So maybe if your strategy focuses more on riflemen, which take advantage more of chokes, or catapults, which you don't want to be surrounded, or some unit choices that primarily aren't dragons or soldiers, or even mages for that matter, then maybe you wouldn't want to pick it for that reason. But I agree totally with you, Shao, that it hasn't been plotted out as 100% as other maps, and because it hasn't been plotted out, I don't think that there's enough games to say that these are the better spots to place buildings, these are the better spots to expect and to scout for a proxy, because it is a very large map, and unlike Lava Bridge, which is also large, but you can reasonably expect where proxy or buildings placed in proximity of your base for an early attack can be put. King Shizong Station, there's just too many unknown variables.
Alright, we're just
waiting for our
waiting.
second veto.
Yeah, we're just waiting on Ice Shield at the moment. Unfortunately, he didn't have the map pool ahead of time, so he's just taking a quick look through it now. And, okay, our first veto coming out from Ice Shield is going to be Crimson Wood.
Now, this is interesting. I actually haven't played any of Crimson Woods. Here, you have anything to fill in? I'm gonna try and find the map. So
Crimson Woods is a very unique map because it has a very thin link between the natural and main, as well as a thin blocked exit from the natural. But they do have wide openings for the main choke of both. So it's a very unique map. I've not seen anything like that. So it's understandable it was vetoed. It's quite a weird one. It's not too popular at the moment.
Yeah, maybe on a map like that, which sounds like it has a very unique road, very unique method of construction. You don't want to be put in a scenario where your normal attacks or openings are less effective because you're not familiar with the map. So you don't want your opponent, who has been practicing and has seen the map pool for longer than you have, to pick a map that you're not as familiar with, because there's just so many ways that if they have taken the chance and studied up on that map and prepared it, then maybe if they lose game 1, it can be the way to get back into game 2. I'm also looking at Crimson Woods, and like you said, it seems a reasonably hard to defend second base, but I don't really see where you would go for a third base on the map. And it could easily be put into a half map scenario, because it looks like the major points to get through.
Alright, I'm just going to interrupt you here. I know map analysis is great, but Ice Shield now takes his second veto and vetoes Steps of War. Owen then counter picks Crossfire.
So he just first picks Crossfire as his map to go to?
No, that's his second veto. They get 3 total vetoes from the map pool.
I got it. If you think about it, Crossfire actually has the same sort of issues with it that King Shizong Station does.
Yeah.
The second base has buildings that can be broken down and entered into, which makes it very hard without excellent placement to defend on both sides. And you do have a relatively easy to defend third base, but where you take your fourth is anyone's guess. I can see that.
Well, Crossfire actually is a bit different to King Sejong, as it has a slightly easier third and fourth. The third has 2 sort of medium-sized chokes, and a fourth either in one of the side bases or outside the sort of destructible natural. So Owen took out Crossfire. Ice Shield has now taken out the ring as his final veto. We're just waiting on Owen now for his final veto, and then we'll go into map pick for the first game. Can I get you to have the window open ready to run it? What I'll probably do is kick you out of it, and then actually it may be easier if I run this myself. Because obviously I'll need to be into casting, we want minimum lag.
That makes sense.
No offense, of course, we love having you around.
Yeah, I know, it's fine. I understand.
Okay, Owen's final veto is Whirlway.
Whirlway is kind of similar to, what's the map I'm thinking of? To Village of Guards, I believe it's called. But the difference is that Whirlway has a very long winding path along both sides that kind of leads into a third, and there's really not an option for a third. So it would make sense on a map like that to have more 2 base attacks instead of 3 due to the difficulty of getting a third base. It's also likely that there's just not that much familiarity with it. You're practicing for the maps, you have to take the chance that the maps you are practicing for, the person, your conceivable opponents are playing for, or they're playing for a different map. So it makes sense not to pick anything it's too unfamiliar with. By the way, I like this setup. It looks nice. It was wonderful to look at the channel and at a glance be able to tell when I have to wake myself up for some Little War game.
Okay, Ice Shield takes the map 1 pick, and he chooses the route for our game 1.
Ooh. Now the route is a very relatively simple map, I should say, to take a second base, because it was originally designed, I think, as a 2v2 map, and your main base is in a little square, wherein there is also maybe less than 5 in-game seconds away by travel another gold mine. So it seems like he feels his strength is going in for a long game. So I'll be interested to see what he can come up with.
Let me just check something. On the blue. Okay, right, we're about to go into the first game, guys. For anyone who's only just tuned in, I don't know if anyone has. The players are now ready. We are about to go in, and this is game 1. Okay, up in the top left-hand corner, filling in for Stripe, who couldn't make it, and competing for his chance at his share of $100. It is Shield, Ice Shield, even up in the top left-hand corner. Coming back from his turn in last month's tournament, where unfortunately got eliminated pretty swiftly, getting matched up against some of the top names in the Little War Game scene. It is Owen in the blue. Alright. Owen's immediately dropped down a house first. Itano, do you want to tell us what that probably means?
Well, if you drop down a house immediately, it takes about 35 seconds for the house to finish. But after that, you can go ahead and get a very early barracks. So what this tells me is that he's either, oh, we have another house going down. Okay, when you put down the house very quickly, you're saying, oh, well, I want to get up barracks units very quickly so I can go pressure my opponent, maybe do some extra damage, and see if I can't force him to make a mistake. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of damage he can do off of this, especially on a map that gives him a relatively simple expansion.
Alright, an interesting response line there from iShield. iShield immediately goes for the double gold base, which doesn't quite function like StarCraft 2 bases. Instead of having richer minerals, it has 2 gold mines. Do you want to just elaborate on what the difference with that is to the StarCraft 2 one? Because we have a lot of StarCraft 2 vets in here.
Oh, okay. Well, for those of you who are StarCraft 2 vets, but not quite fully in depth with Little Wargame yet, in StarCraft 2, gold mines, gold mineral patches allow you to mine faster. Whereas in here with a double base, you don't mine faster so much as you mine from 2 separate nodes. So, whereas a gold mine is a certain amount more effective by percentage, this right here going to this double base will enable iShield to go immediately from a 1 to a 3 base economy, and it'll put him in a better position to hold off rushes.
Yep. The other key differences are the fact that you don't have triple worker production unlike 3 bases, but it does cost a lot less gold because you only need 1 extra castle. Now, we see Owen coming up with a scout here. Will he see it? This is going to be really crucial. Oh, we've got some slight lag. Apologies for anyone on screen there. It's going to be really crucial that he sees this.
Yes, it is. And I don't know what his ideal response is in a situation where he does.
Well, he did go house first, and he's got a barracks on the way. He's going to be in a great position to pressure this. Which is absolutely what he needs.
I agree.
I'd really like to see a proxy tower here go down by Owen, but he's opted not to. He's not got a goal just yet. iShield does throw down a house behind this, so he is going to want to try and hold on against the barracks.
Now that's actually really concerning if you're iShield, but it also means that he's done this often, because if he threw down a tower at his double base, then any of the units that would come out of Owen's very early house would enable him to just ignore the double base and go straight over to the main base, and that would be a devastating loss, because it would effectively put iShield back even with Owen. But iShield's putting down this house and saying, I'm going to race you to it, I'm going to make barracks, in the meantime, I'm going to have enough workers to hold this off.
Alright, we've got an interesting thing here by Owen. Oh, he had a worker just hiding out on one side there, but he sent it home. Not sure if that's a mistake, or whether he was keeping an eye on scouting, we'll see. iShield not actually starting double worker production here, so I'm trying to work out what he's going for. Because there's no point in building a house, that's extra supply that he doesn't need. But maybe he's just saving up money, maybe he thinks he's got enough workers out now, but he needs to take advantage of this. Looks like he's probably going to throw down a barracks to defend this.
I agree, and if he does throw down the barracks over at his double base, that would actually be a remarkable building defense, because what that would enable him to do is filter in the soldiers that are attacking the double base, so they only attack 1 or 2 at a time. So Owen can't take advantage if he attacks the double base with his superior numbers. But it looks like we have another building going down for Owen.
Owen throwing down a proxy rack. Questionable choice there. I don't think it needs to be proxied. You only get about a 5-10 second spawn time there, and it's quite risky. But the first soldier's going in here. This is Owen's opportunity to do massive damage, or he could fall really far behind him, possibly lose game 1 of the first match.
This would be really
done.
good.
Sorry to interrupt you there.
This would be really... No, it's a good point, and what that means is that there's about another 15 or 20 seconds before he can even start the construction of a soldier, which takes another 30 plus seconds. So there's a lot of time for Owen to just have free reign and to force iShield to test his micro.
Do you think it's worth it for iShield to look into throwing down a fort on this double base?
To throw down a
fort.
Oh yeah, oh definitely. But the problem with as of 1.8, version 1.8, for anyone who doesn't know, you can pay 250 gold